Look at this. It's like a little Harry Potter wand, just sitting down here.
Or it's a dowel.
I'm going to make you burst into flames, Nicole.
What is this from?
My stock of dowels. It's just
you really have
a
stock of dowels?
Of course. Who doesn't? Do you not have a stock of dowels?
I do not have a stock of dowels.
Amateur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fresh out.
So any thank yous or stuff we want to get to before
we got some thank yous.
hit our questions?
I'm also in the Discord chat room with Jim Ketchum, Jason Small, Matt Scranton, all those guys. And I'm also in the YouTube chat. Just a quick few thank yous. Got a few things in the mail. First, since we're talking about coffee, I just wanted to say thank you to the Wood Hobbit, who sent us this really cool custom Dunkin' Donuts card.
It's kind of awesome.
It's so cool.
I didn't know that you could do that.
I know. So thank you so much.
It's Mike, right?
It says, thanks for all you do. Friday Live rocks.
I think his name is Mike.
The Wood Hobbit.
Yeah, but I think like his actual name is not the Wood Hobbit. I think it's Mike.
You mean his mother did not call him?
I will name him the Wood Hobbit. He's so beautiful, isn't he? Okay.
Just call me Wood.
Call me Wood for short. What's next?
And then we also have another, I got a challenge coin.
Another government challenge coin?
Yeah, it's from the Department of Energy, Department of the Navy. So Mark and Nicole, here's your challenge coin from the 4-star Admiral, Director of the Naval Nuclear Propulsion, I think that's it, at Naval Reactors Headquarters in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
I've also included a couple of stickers from my last boat, ballistic missile submarine, the USS Nebraska.
Heyo.
SSBN 739, Go Big Red. Thanks for all you do. Your work and teaching is inspiring. Landon and Ashley Sherritt. Is that right?
Looks right to me.
Yep. So we got a couple.
That's so great. I could see, like, if you ever take a trip to DC, you could put all your challenge coins on a necklace or something, walking around as if these are your credentials to get into places.
I don't think it works like that. But this one's really cool because my mom works at a nuclear plant.
Security clearance.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I don't think that really.
And then they say, no, and you go punch them in the nuts. Right?
I'm going to guess I would probably be put in jail for that. And then we also got a cool shirt.
Yeah, I did.
This is an awesome
shirt. Ooh, it feels silky.
This is from David Briggs, and he wrote, Nicole and Mark, thank you again for the videos. So I think Captain David Briggs is on this ship on the back. The
Bataan?
Bataan.
Or Baton?
Baton.
I don't know.
And they're out to sea, and so he contacted me and said, we would really like to watch the Wood Whisperer videos. Is there any way that I can send you a USB stick? I said, don't worry about it. And so I put 10 years of Wood Whisperer videos on a USB stick and sent it to the guys out there. So they probably aren't watching this, but I just wanted to say, David, thank you for the shirt. That was awesome.
The last decade of my career and all of my life's work can be summed up in one USB stick. It's a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a big USB stick.
It was a big stick. I mean,
128 gigs.
Not to brag, but it's a lot of gigabytes.
So when he gets back to Norfolk, he's going to send us something too.
Sweet.
But he didn't want to send it through customs because he didn't think it would go.
That's awesome.
Thank you, David.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay, lots of questions. So here's something that's going to be changing a little bit. We are just kind of rolling with the punches when things need to change. We'll try to change them. We do like to answer as many Patreon questions as possible. The problem is there's a lot of them, and they're not getting any fewer as we go on. So I'm going to have to pick and choose now. I won't be able to answer all of them. And what we might do is the higher level Zen Q&A will be sort of upgraded to any questions asked there are guaranteed to be answered on the show, and then the rest of the Patreon questions have a better chance.
I've already changed it.
The reality is the language already said that you have a shot at having your question answered on the show. We just didn't get enough questions that we'd have to choose. Now we do. So let's get to it.
Jason Christensen just gave us a $5 super chat and said thank you for the motor scene.
The motor scene.
I can't talk today.
It's a motor scene here. Jason actually posted something in the Guild Facebook group the other day and yesterday, and had a question about mortising techniques. And I sort of thought about it. I'm like, I probably gloss over that a little bit too much. So I quickly ran out to the shop, changed my schedule for the day. I was supposed to be working on the chairs, and figured I could just poop out a video very quickly. And thankfully I did. And it doesn't smell like poop, so that's a good thing. But it is on mortising and all the details. I mean, it's pretty quick, but it shows the exact process that I use, and hopefully will solve some problems for people, including Jason.
People are asking me about how to join the Discord chat. There are two ways. If you are a patron of either Wood Talk or the Wood Whisperer, you automatically are allowed into it sets you up. There's a process to it. But it's part of Patron, the patron goals or rewards. And if you're a guild member, you get it as well. The way you get that is through, I posted it in the newsletter and I posted it in the Facebook group. So if you are a guild member and you're not on Facebook and you don't get the newsletter, send me an email and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Nicole@thewoodwhisperer.com.
John Mahoney wants to know, what are some of the names you and Mark kicked around before you decided on the Wood Whisperer for your company name? I guess I'm assuming you had other names on the list, but if not, then I would like to know that too. We didn't. Basically, we never intended it to become what it is. So that decision was a little bit, we didn't give it much weight. I don't think Nicole was even really a part of that decision at the time.
No, it was funny because...
Just that conversation with my brother.
Yeah, you and your brother.
I basically needed to come up with a name to put on top of a website. What was it? It was a Blogger website, right?
It was a Blogger website,
Google's Blogger service, or they bought Blogger, I don't know. But it was a free website. I needed a title. That's what we went with. And it just happens to turn into a business, so it kind of wasn't that sort of thing. Okay, Joshua Pittendry.
That wasn't a very exciting story.
No, it wasn't at all. But you sent that to me. I had to answer it.
You sent it to me.
I would like to build a dining table for my wife. Should have been done about 8 months ago. Joshua. This is partially because of my schedule. Closest place I can get 2-inch thick hardwood is 65 miles away in Southern California. So let's say 2 hours. She wants a farmhouse dining table. This will be my first big project. I'm thinking of building it out of Douglas Fir because of availability. I realize it's a softer wood, but what are your thoughts on building the top from Doug Fir? Will it hold up? Should I use a different wood? It's a bit of a challenging question because normally I would say, suck it up, drive 2 hours, go get the wood. If this is a table you're building for your wife, something I assume you're going to be using almost daily, you're going to want something made out of good quality wood that's going to last. But you're also mentioning that this is one of your first builds. And a lot of times in those cases, I recommend people do use inexpensive wood because you might build something that you're just going to replace in 2 years with something better, right? So kind of think about where you're going, where your skills are, if that's something you think you could pull off and make something that's going to last for the next 10, 15 years, then go for the hardwood. And not that Douglas Fir is ultimately bad. I mean, there's some that's better than others, but as far as the Douglas Fir that I've had contact with, I would never make a table out of Douglas Fir for someone I liked. Let's put it that way. You okay, Nicole? Nicole's thinking of all the Douglas Fir tables I built her over the years. Choke on your spit?
Well, yeah, I did. It was like a mixture of coffee.
I have that effect on women.
Didn't you make a nightstand of Douglas Fir and it got all kind of...
Nope.
No? What was that?
Well,
the very first one that you gave Matt and
that was birch.
Birch.
And not all woods are going to behave, even if they're good quality hardwoods, so keep that in mind too. But what I find with, sort of construction grade Douglas Fir stuff I can get from the home center is where it's best to be used? Inside a wall behind drywall where no one will ever see it. Yeah. It's not that Douglas Fir is just that horrible. It's just material that tends to be very quickly cut and harvested. It's very wet. It likes to move a lot after the fact, and it is incredibly soft. Some of the softest material you'll ever touch in those 2x4s and 2x6s. So I would say avoid it because that top is just going to be abused. I mean, maybe you're going for the rustic look. Maybe that'll be okay, right? Yeah. My Western red cedar table that's in the backyard, that's made to be a rustic look, and it's a very soft wood. So if it dents, I'm like, who cares? It's an outdoor table.
Ava takes the fork and jabs it in.
Jabs it in there. It's fine. That's fine. But ultimately, I like harder woods. A little bit bullish on that at this point. Marc Oliver Bastian, my first indoor woodworking project. I'm prepared to build a queen-size bed. What size would you recommend for rails as strength? Is a concern, and both with spruce, my softwood of choice, and maple and oak, would you use 6/4 stock? It's a lot of stuff. I'm going to recommend you go watch one of my bed videos on the Wood Whisperer website. We did the cherry and walnut bed, the king-size bed. The king-size bed, doesn't matter what size it is.
But it's nice because someone did like king, queen.
Yeah, they resized it.
Yeah, they resized it.
So I think minimally you want 6/4. I like 8/4 for rails. If you could do it, it gives you room to put a rabbit in there, something for your cross members. But keep in mind that those rails in most designs are not really bearing all of the weight. A lot of times you're going to have the strips going across from rail to rail and a center support. That's really actually bearing most of the weight. So distributed weight like that, 6/4 is probably going to be perfectly fine, but I do like to go to 8/4. Why not make it a little bit beefier if you can? But go check
video, wink, wink.
Hubba, hubba. Yeah, so go check those videos out. It'll give you an idea what I did. Alex writes in, I'm planning a new tabletop for a standing desk in my office. Would like to do a large and simple inlay. I'm going to summarize this. He's making a big giant inlay, and he wants to know, should he do that inlay in halves? Because he doesn't have a single board wide enough to cover the size of the inlay.
What is the inlay, did he say?
He didn't say. Something large.
Like a surfboard?
Like a giant Mickey Mouse. That's what I'm thinking.
A giant Mickey Mouse.
So do I divide Mickey's head in half?
Split it in two.
Yeah, and inlay 2 sections at a time. Or he wants to know, does he take the inlay material, glue that together, and then treat that as one wide sheet of stock? And he's concerned that that's not going to be strong enough. Well, if you glue that joint together properly, it will be strong enough, right? Even if it's like 1/4 inch thick or thinner material, you can absolutely do that. Shoot, I do that with veneer sheets, right? So you're looking at like commercial veneer, you could tape those together and edge join them, okay? That wood to wood bond is very, very strong. So I say don't hesitate, bring your boards together at 1/4 inch thickness or whatever your thin material is going to be for inlay, glue them together, make sure you have a good edge joint on there. That joint is going to hold up just fine.
Is that Alex? Oh, Alex is in the chat room. He says Mickey's head is actually a very similar shape to what I'm thinking.
Exactly, I told you. Me and Alex are connected.
Yeah, you're connected.
Okay, Sean Smith. I've been asked to design a bench pull toy holder for my parents. Now, I'm going to summarize this one as well. He needs a very long board, 10 foot, and he's ordering stuff online. Doesn't have the length. He doesn't think he can get the boards in that length. So he's forced with doing an end grade joint, like 10 feet.
Oh.
So he's forced to do some kind of an end grain joint.
What kind of pull toy is 10 feet long?
Well, also pull gear, like a skimmer pole, right?
Like in a pull toy, like a little walkie toy.
Oh yeah, baby pool toys
Damn,
for very large babies.
Very large pool toy.
All right, that's me. That's me as a big baby.
Yeah, you are.
So there are a couple different ways quite a few different ways you can do this. If the pieces are substantial in thickness, I think one of the easiest ways to join them and make it look okay is to just do something like a half lap joint or a bridle joint. You can actually, get those pieces to come together and have good face grain and long grain glue bonds in there. You don't have to worry about doing a butt joint with a joint between them. That to me puts an ugly horizontal line. It doesn't look as clean or elegant, and I don't think it's as strong as something like a bridle joint. So
Larry says scarf joint?
Yeah, you could do a scarf joint too, but a scarf joint for the most part is a long miter. Okay, it's a very long angled connection between those two. What the advantage with a scarf joint is that it tends to disappear a little bit better because now you've got a long, hard, it's kind of going with the grains, sort of. So depending on the way the grain works, it might be less noticeable, but scarf joints might be a little bit tricky to pull off on something really large. So my recommendation is go for the most strength possible. Go with a good size half lap. You could even reinforce the half lap a little bit. You could do, some of the timber framing things I've seen where it's almost like 2 interlocking dovetails. So it's kind of like a half lap, but they interlock and then they have a pin going through them. And that thing is like rock solid. Mm-hmm. So you know what? Here's another thing. Consider your options for making that a visual feature as opposed to something that detracts from the look. Okay, you can definitely dress it up in a way that makes it look cool.
A quick question from the chat. Kevin Hahn says, can you please recommend a wax to use on the sole and exposed surfaces of a hand plane?
Well, for the sole of a hand plane, I mean, you kind of can generally wax or oil your hand planes, any of those metal surfaces. Jojoba oil works good. What's the other one? I forget the damn name of it.
Jojoba?
Not Jatoba, or not, it's jojoba. There's another one, camellia oil.
Camellia?
Those are great as like a non-drying oil that will just kind of keep it lubricated and keep it from rusting. But when it comes to wax, any wax is going to do just fine. In fact, I got to reorder a can of Renaissance wax because the one I bought like 7 years ago finally ran out.
You know what? Somebody in the chat room said, I think Marc uses Renaissance wax.
So I think Renaissance wax is a really good option. Even a dry spray lubricant, like I think Bostik makes them, that you would spray your table saw top with or something. You could use that as well. A lot of people will even take their planes and just grab a chunk of either beeswax or what's the regular wax? The white wax. You know what I'm talking about?
White wax?
It's just, you know what I'm talking about, a big chunk of white wax. There's a type of wax.
Surfer wax?
Yes, surfer wax.
Go
grab some surfer wax.
No, don't do that.
But anyway,
white wax.
You can basically, before you use it, paraffin wax.
Thank you, Marc Levin.
See, someone knows what the heck I'm talking about. And you kind of just do a little cross hatch pattern here on your sole, and you do that right before you work, and that'll help it slide a little bit better on the surface. Okay. Stuart Johnson. If only one router can be purchased, would a larger one be better for both the table and handheld routing, or a smaller one? Well, that's tricky. I would say more than size, I would focus on the fact that you buy like a plunge router. I think a plunge router is going to be one of the most useful things. Just make sure it integrates into the table properly. So when you take it out, you've got a much more versatile, functional router. You may also look into a kit, because sometimes you could take the body, the motor out, maybe keep the fixed base in your router table, and then all you have to do is slide the motor out, put it into your plunge base, and now you have something that can go back and forth. So again, size is not so much an issue as functionality, as far as I'm concerned. But if you are concerned about the size, in the router table, you generally want something that's pretty darn powerful. So I think bigger is better in that case, but handheld, bigger tends to be a little more unruly. But honestly, if you've ever used a really big router, once you get used to it, they're pretty darn stable and fun to use. I've got that OF 2200 Festool router. That thing is a beast, and it's fantastic. I love using it. Okay.
Don't use candle wax, Greg says.
Okie dokie. Where are we? Okay, so Dan Salzwedel says, I have a panel that I've coated with 3 coats of brush-on lacquer. It has my wife and my name spray painted over that, and then people have signed it for our wedding in a Sharpie. What sort of protection can I put over this? Will either wipe-on or aerosol lacquer interact with the spray paint or Sharpie at all? Yeah, Dan, a lot of these things will react. This is one of those things where I would absolutely, when we're talking about your wedding, a keepsake, go get a piece of plywood, try to recreate what you've done there, and then test it. Because you need to confirm that you can do this before you ruin something that is going to really, anger everybody.
And by everybody,
him and his wife.
Yeah.
So, but that said, I think the technique you want to apply, go with aerosol or HVLP, and you want to have very light coats of finish. You don't want to just douse it, right? Because if the actual lacquer sits on there, it'll reactivate and it'll probably react with some of the Sharpie. Now, I sometimes, for high-level patrons, I will sign a piece of scrap wood for them. And what I typically do is I kind of pre-seal the wood just with a quick coat of spray lacquer. Then I sign it with a Sharpie. Once that's dry, I just very quickly give it a good pass, right? Let that dry for 15 minutes. Give it another good pass, dry 15 minutes. After about 3 or 4 coats, then you can kind of start to lay the finish on a little bit thicker because you've kind of sealed it in and you've put some distance between the actual ink and your lacquer layer. So that's what I would experiment with first, make sure it works, and then apply that to your actual memento.
In fact, you owe me a piece of signed wood.
Yes, I do. For Tim Walsh.
For Tim, yes.
I remember these things, Nicole. And a mind like an elephant.
We have a few super chats.
Okay.
We have one from...
You have the most beautiful hair.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Sulbane just ordered 6 cutting board kits from Bell Forest. Whoa!
Heyo!
I live in Southern California. Kits are shipped from Michigan. Is that Michigan? Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What acclimation steps do I need to do before starting?
Well, they're going to be small pieces, right? We're not talking about big giant boards here. So they're probably not going to move a whole lot, but if you just want to be cautious, take them out of the container, put them on a big wide work surface like your workbench or, in your living room, whatever. And just kind of spread them out. Let them sit. Give them a couple of weeks.
Or a week. Because they're probably already acclimated, don't you think?
To Michigan.
Yeah.
Not to Southern California.
That's true.
And again, well, I don't really, right now, I don't know what the humidity is in their warehouse versus the humidity in your garage. So it may not actually be that much of a disparity, but I don't know. So bottom line though, if you want to be absolutely safe, just give them a couple weeks to sit in your environment and then start working with them.
Also, hopefully you used their coupon code. So TWW5 gets you 5% off your order at Bell Forest. And if you're a guild member, we have a coupon code for 10% off. So. And
if you didn't know that, then that sucks.
Sorry.
Okay,
now you do.
Christopher Buxton says, Mark, out of all the projects you've completed in your life, which one meant the most to you personally and why? Also, I was was wondering your first large project pre-show. Okay, answer that second question first. I think my first large project was the mission-style, Stickley-style coffee table. So I had a coworker back when I worked at Chemicon, and he wanted this coffee table, and it was just simple mission-style with Stickley handles, and it was a pull-through. So it had a bunch of drawers in it, and the drawers were two-sided. It would, pull open to each side, and I think that was probably my first, what I would call, major project. Then I later went on to do a full-scale entertainment center build with 2 vertical cabinets on the sides and 1 big one in the middle. So that did a lot of work for that. That was Chris. Remember that?
Yeah,
Chris and Daniela. I follow her on Facebook.
Do you? Yeah. Well, there you go.
Their kids are getting old.
You should ask if they still have your furniture.
I bet you they do.
You think?
I know
it was beefy furniture.
It was some beefy furniture. We delivered it from Arizona. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I do.
Okay. So as far as the most meaningful project, it gave this some thought, and actually it didn't require much. My favorite project is the Maui hook.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it was made from a 2x4, but the look on Mateo's face, his reaction afterwards, and how special that was to him, made that one of the best things possible, which kind of says a lot about what we do. It's not necessarily the degree of difficulty. Yeah, that has a sense of accomplishment, but seeing someone's reaction that really appreciates it in a way and sees you, I mean, it's my son. Yeah. He sees me as sort of a superhero, that this is my power. In fact, his Father's Day card that he made me at school asked, what is your dad's superpower? And it says making things. And I'm just like, well, see, that's what this is all about. That's what life is all about. So that
what are you
particular
gonna do for
project.
Your daughter?
I don't know. It depends on what she's interested in.
I know.
Well, I mean, what am I going to do for her now? I can hand her a block, and she'd be like,
She does love her blocks.
Yeah.
We have some more super chats, so I'll let you do.
Last question.
Okay.
From Matt Scranton. That is how you pronounce that, by the way. As a parent of 2 young kids, shop time for me is limited to late evening and on weekends, and when we don't have other things going on. If content production wasn't your primary means of income, how do you see yourselves managing the hobby while also devoting time to the family? If it were just a hobby, which means I also now have a day job, I think I would be in Matt Scranton's position.
Yes.
I would have no choice but to simply work when I can at night after the kids are asleep, try to get some time in on the weekends when you say I'm taking the kids to the mall, and I go, okay, I'll have a couple hours to woodwork.
Yeah.
It would not be something I'd be able to put much time into.
We would coordinate it more because I would want to give you some time, but then...
It's really a family thing. It's a matter of making time for each other to do those things. I think we've even talked about this in the past, where if you wanted to go out, get your nails done, or go get your hair cut, or have a couple hours of quiet time to play a video game, I would have to step up and give you that time if my expectation is to receive some of that time in return for me to be in the shop.
Keep doing nice things, right?
Yeah, I think that's the only way to do it. And still, you got 2 young kids. Well, maybe, for the next few years, you're probably just not going to get a whole lot of woodworking done.
Yeah, well, and that's, I mean, some
until
people
you start
know.
Incorporating the kids.
Well, like when I had Ava, I put all my podcasting on hold because I was like, I just know I can't keep up. And I didn't. It
wasn't even worth the
As much
effort.
as I love video games, I didn't play video games for, honestly, until about 4 months ago when I started playing Tomb Raider and Fallout 4. And that was the first one.
Moved.
Yeah, so it'd been like a year and a half or more because I was sick when I was pregnant too, and I didn't play anything there. So it was a good 2 years I took a break. And sometimes you take breaks and then you find your way back and things change. And
well, the cool thing is you could stay involved in the community like you are and feel like you're still connected.
Bothering me in the chat room.
Connected and learning things, even though you might not get as much shop time as you'd like.
So we have a few super chats. We have one from Kevin Cotter. Just rewatched your lighting video. My American Green LED lights just arrived. Electrician on Monday. Thanks for all the info.
Oh, nice.
I say these things are great.
These lights have been rock solid. Yeah. I love these lights. Every time I turn the lights on in here, I just like, boom. Yeah. It's perfect every time.
It's LED too.
Yep. More energy. It's great.
Benjamin Royce did a super chat. Hello. What glue would you recommend for beehive boxes? I've read not using something terribly toxic. Just wanted to hear your thoughts.
Well, it's outside. Moisture is an issue, and of course toxicity would be an issue. I think something like Titebond 3 would be perfectly fine. It's a waterproof glue, works just like any other PVA glue in terms of usage. There's nothing particularly toxic in it that I'm aware of, and double check into this because bees certainly might have some sensitivity that I don't know about, but I think you'd be fine with something like Titebond 3 or any other outdoor rated PVA glue.
Might also be a good resource for you. There's a YouTube channel called Garden Fork. Eric Roche, I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, I've known Eric. He started podcasting and doing videos when we started doing them. In fact, he might have been doing them longer. He's in upstate New York, and he is a beekeeper. So he has a really great community over at Garden Fork. And check out some of his bee videos. And he's a Renaissance man. He does everything.
A little bit of everything.
He's amazing. Cooking, he does some really cool
Dogs.
stuff. He has great labs. So check out Garden Fork. You can find him on YouTube.
Gardenfork.tv,
Yeah, and go to his website too. Let's see. E10. Ooh, back door
open.
That's my mom. E10 just did super chat, and I'm looking for any questions that you might have, but I'm not, because I'm guessing you did the super chat and didn't put the question in there. So
well, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Either way, it was really nice of you. So if you do have a question, I'll kind of scan it. Ness G again. Hey, because I can, and because you're so awesome, you are such awesome humans. I can't speak. Good day, Mark and Nicole, and have a good day. Cheers, mate.
Well, thank you, Ness. You have a good day, too.
Yes. Let's see. I grabbed a few others. Brian Walker said, my lumber was kiln dried, but will I have any issues if it got caught in the rain on the way home from the lumber yard? Do I need to have it sent back to the kiln, or can I air dry it before use?
Generally speaking, once the wood is kiln dried, you've kind of changed its composition, the cellular structure, in such a way that you've extracted the moisture out of the plant cell walls. So when you get moisture on a kiln dried board, it loses that moisture much faster. It's not going to suddenly go back to a green state, right? It is fundamentally changed from this point on. So honestly, you just wait for it to dry. Put it in a dry place, let it get some good air. If it's thin material, it certainly might cup or bend on you because of moisture differences on one side versus the other. But in general, I mean, I've had this happen too. If it happens on a piece of plywood, that kind of sucks. But if it's solid wood, you're gonna be fine. Just give it air, put a fan on it if you want to. As soon as it feels dry, it's dry. And that water isn't going very deep.
So we got a question in the Discord chat from Fish Newton. I love that name. Will there ever be a guild project frame series for beginners? Maybe it includes design, layout, splines, jigs, miter jig, etc. Might be a great gateway for those people involved in larger projects.
We've often thought about doing things like that with the guild. Maybe that's a future thing, in our collaboration with Cremona. Maybe we can come up with courses, that are more focused on hammering out all the issues surrounding techniques, and they can kind of reinforce. We really try to make sure each and every video has everything you need to do it, but we're not necessarily going to go all the way back to, the very beginning fundamentals. So I certainly see value in that. And I'm not, I can't make a guarantee, but I do think that that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I think so too.
A couple more questions.
Got a couple more super chats. One from Chris Buxton.
Super chat.
Super chat. Thanks for the answers. Appreciate the time. I'm enjoying the Patreon very much, and also appreciate you getting the RSS figured out for me. Oh, Chris. Yeah.
Hey, good.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's happened before. It's unreliable. Yeah. I actually feel bad.
Nothing you did, so don't worry.
I feel bad for people who are truly utilizing Patreon as a membership platform to control people getting stuff directly.
Yeah.
I know we do it, but it's at a very light level.
Yeah.
There are people who use that as, kind of like we do with the Guild, as their platform, and it is somewhat unreliable.
Well, basically what Chris is referring to is we started taking the audio from the video and putting it into the feed at Patreon.
Well, we should mention that, by the way. If you are a Patreon supporter, this is available to you. It's not that we want to hide it in Patreon. It's that I haven't had a chance to make an iTunes feed. So all these shows, I'm putting out an audio version. So anybody who doesn't have time to watch the full video, you can just listen to it like a podcast. So if you're on Patreon with us, you can use the link they provide as an RSS link and put that into your podcatcher, whatever software you use, and every week you'll get the show downloaded in audio format.
Yep.
But we will, assuming it continues to go well, we will make an iTunes feed.
Richard Ash did a super chat. Just because my son Martin and daughter Iris thinks your shirt is awesome.
Oh yeah, abstergo baby. Now I'm gonna have to kill them for bringing it up. Do you realize what it means that you've discovered my secret identity?
You probably shouldn't wear it on your shirt then.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe that's true. Glad you noticed. Yeah. Now I have to kill you.
Oh, it's such a good game.
Okay. Anything else? We gotta close it up.
Yeah, we gotta close
pinching
this
it off,
up.
Nicole. It takes me forever to render these files.
I'm just making sure. Is that? You're going to get a new computer soon, and then maybe we'll be able to... Maybe
we'll do longer ones if it doesn't take all day. That's why it takes me forever to post these things.
Yeah.
I don't get it up till Friday night, Saturday morning.
Yep. So I think that's it.
Woohoo.
Oh, you need to thank everybody.
Yep. Okay. So, folks who helped us out on Patreon this past week, we really appreciate your support. Patreon.com/woodwhisper. They include Bill Berg, Craig Davis, Brandon Olson, Jeff Albrechtson, Gail Clannon, Matthias Wahlberg, Brian Egan, Kevin Tunis, Jeremy Paston, Eric B., Jim Norton, John Little, Jason Newell, Hallie Pastel, Lance Stuchel, Mike Scott 8 Hamilton, John Frazee, Derek Gedlings, Lee Unit, J.C. Hunt, Chad Prohaska, Joseph Jacob Albison, Nicholas Jugul, Marvin Jones, Larry Stewart, Stephen Green, Richard Dotson, Christopher Fink, Mark Oliver Bastian, I think we answered one of his questions, Chuck Curtis, Evan Labrie, and Kevin Howell. That is one heck of a list.
And I also, Ethan said, sorry, he did the super chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, tech fail. Have you ever used IPE in a project? I have a fairly new shop with very little setup in the way.
I use IPA in a project. Get it?
Yes, I got it.
It's ePay.
Yeah. Oh, ePay?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what was the question? Have I ever used ePay in a project?
Yeah. Very little setup in the way of dust collection. Any tips on combating that gnarly dust? Love the show.
You know what? Respirator. I mean, if you don't have good quality dust collection, and no, I haven't really worked with ePay, but it doesn't matter.
What is ePay?
It's a particular type of wood.
Sounds like
it's fairly expensive. It's good for outdoor stuff.
Okay.
But it's pricey.
Gotcha.
It's kind of stuff Shannon would use.
Oh, gosh.
So use a respirator. Ultimately, all dust is bad for you. Some certainly is worse than others, but it's all bad. So protect yourself. Now, if you don't have the proper dust collection, try to get as good a ventilation as possible to clear out the dust as you're working with it. But protect yourself right here. Protect yourself in your face. And I've talked about it many times. How's it going? And I'm going to show it just because, and we'll put the link up to Amazon for this. This is my respirator. It's a 3M 6500. In fact, it's the large size, 6503. And you see these pink filters on here? Those are the P100 filters. Basically, it's going to filter out anything that we could produce here in the shop. Not fumes from finishes, but dust. This I don't cut wood without wearing this in the shop anymore, and I've got good dust collection. So yeah, maybe I'm a little paranoid about it, but get yourself one of these, wear it the entire time you're working with the stuff while there's potentially dust in the air, and you will be safe. That's the primary thing. Get used to it. They are comfortable, but some people, I mean, I get a little, I've worn mine so many times during big projects where I actually get like, just from the sweat and everything, I actually get like a pimple or a blister.
You get the clogged pores.
It's either that or a clogged pore or something on the bridge of my nose. But it's totally worth it to protect your lungs, okay? So that's what I would recommend.
Yep.
And with that,
we got to pick a winner.
I bid you adieu.
Very nice question.
Oh, I have to pick a winner?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Also, don't forget from the questions I have too.
Okay. I like Joshua Pittendrig question, the one about the Douglas Fir.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So you get to pick a project from the guild and then build that for your wife. And she will be like,
hey, Matt.
Oh my gosh,
Matt
Joshua,
Stratton.
I love you so much. Matt, you win nothing, sir. All right. You drank the fizzy lifting drinks.
You get nothing.
You get nothing.
All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. I guess we're done. Are we done?
Oh.
Might want to say bye.
Have a great Friday, everybody.
Oh, somebody asked about the PM show. We only do that once a month. So we did our PM show for June. We'll do one in July, I believe, July 7th, because we're going to be out of town on the 30th.
And the PM show
first Friday of the month.
The PM show will be the only show that day.
Oh.
I've decided and overruled Nicole's desire to do 2 shows in one day. And we will not be doing a regular show that day, but we will do the PM show that day.
Okay. All right.
It's a lot of rendering.
Yeah. See ya.